This is the TJ Hoisington Podcast. Unleash your greatness within.
Hi there, and welcome back. I don't know if you listened to my last podcast, but I just walked out of that training and I'm sitting in my car and I thought I would give a couple additional points. You see, in the last episode that I did, it was all on the power of beliefs and how beliefs shape our destiny and how they shape our life. But there were a couple thoughts that I thought would be useful to clarify or to share with you in this follow-up message. Number one, I went through what I call the process and development of thinking and belief formation. And it all starts with, we have an event. From that event, we have, number two, thoughts. We look at that event. And then number three is we interpret that event through what we focus on and the meaning we give it, right? We look at the cause and the effect and we determine, wow, is this consistent? Is there a pattern here? Should I accept this as a truth and reality? What are we focused on? And then I went into, from that interpretation and what we took from it, we form a belief. Well, actually, we can back up and say we either form an additional idea, which is neutral, or we, a little bit more intense, we form an opinion, or a little bit more intense, we form a belief, or way intense, we form conviction. And all those are based on the same general belief, but the more evidence you get to hold up that belief, the stronger it gets in terms of intensity. And many of us are living by conviction or strong beliefs where we have stacked a lot of evidence underneath that bridge, and we're living by these beliefs that may not be serving us long term. The vehicle that we're using or the belief that we're living by may not meet our needs long term. So we have to look at that. And then after we form that belief, we then make decisions. What will I do with this belief? And then after that, we take action. And it becomes reciprocal, right? It goes back through itself. And other pieces of this affect other pieces of it. So nothing really stands on its own. But here was one thought of that I neglected to mention. And that was this. That in the interpretation and when it comes to focus and meaning and the thoughts that we have, a lot of that is colored or shaped or skewed based on the state we're in when we had that thought or we conjured up that interpretation. State of mind is everything. It will color perceptions in one state that in another state will color it completely different. I knew early on in my marriage with my wife that she would color reality or a disagreement we would have or something that frustrated her differently if she was overtired or hungry. Now, we've been married 20 years now and it's gotten a lot better regardless of if she eats or not. But what I did learn from that was state of mind is everything. So I knew early on in our marriage that if I wanted things to go my way, at least on a percentage level, right, to be successful, then I wanted to make sure that she was fed, that she was relaxed, and that she got adequate sleep. And as long as those things were in place, she was really rational. And you know what? We're probably all to some degree the same way. The key is making sure we're in the right state of mind. And you can throw yourself in a high state of mind, a peak state of mind. You can imagine an end result that you want to go after, that you're really excited about. And you can, alone in your room, turn on some music, jump up and down, pump your fists and say, I'm going to do this. This is my destiny. I'm unstoppable. I believe I can make it happen. I'm going to do it now. Or whatever the phrasing that you want to use. I just threw that off the top of my head. You could go in the state, and if you'll act in that state, when you act as if you're confident, you go into the state of making that true. And your mind starts looking for evidence and resources within the confines of your mind and out in reality to make it a reality. And sometimes that will give you just the jolt you need to go out and take the action, face your fears, and make it a reality. All right? So go ahead, act as if, go get in state. Understand that when you form a decision or you want to change a decision, getting in the right state of mind is everything. Any great athlete or actor or other high-performing artist in some fashion or another knows how important state of mind is. Now, what most people do is they allow their state of mind to govern their state of mind, right? Whatever comes to them is their state of mind. But high performers, the people that are in charge of their destinies, make a choice to put themselves in the state of mind that they need to be in to get the results that they want. Listen, I know when I'm running, I'm in a different state of mind than when I'm sitting at my office. That's why sometimes I'll be riding in my office and I'll go out for a run, and man, I'll be out on my run and I'll have a flood of ideas come to me while I'm on the run or while I'm driving, right? That changes my state. So here's a couple points that you want to keep in mind in terms of changing your state. Number one, what are you focused on in that moment? For me, I focus on the purpose, what I'm trying to achieve, my goals, and so forth, right? What is the end result? Will this make sense long term? So what you focus on has a lot to do with the state of mind you're put in that moment. So control your focus. The second thing that's vital is that you get up and move your body. As you move your body, it opens those caverns in your mind that will bring forth new ideas and information that will help you get what you want. Okay? So movement is key, focus is key. All right, I hope that makes sense. Now let me go on to one other thing, and I know I'm going long. Sorry that sometimes I just get on a roll. I love you guys. I'm thankful that you're a part of my community. But here, let me give you another thought. As I was going back through one of my journals in preparation for that training that I did, I came across some things I wrote about by listening to Deepak Chopra. And I don't know if you've heard of Deepak Chopra, but I would listen to him if I were you. I would study what he's got. Really powerful stuff. Deepak Chopra, it seemed like in the 90s and early 2000s, he was really huge. I don't know what he's been doing in his business lately, but I love his stuff. And one of the things I came across in listening to him was this. Reality is an interpretation. What is the real texture of trees, flowers, fragrance? What do the stars out in the universe really look like? The answer, he gives us 3 points. He says the answer to these questions is based on, number 1, who is looking, number 2, the instrument they are using to observe, and number 3, which kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier, the types of questions they ask themselves when they make their interpretations. Wow. Questions that we ask govern what we focus oftentimes. So if we ask the right questions, we'll get the right answers. If we ask the wrong questions, we'll often get the wrong answer. So here's a couple other thoughts that he shared. He says, think about this. Human beings only have 5 or 6 senses to decode information around us. Therefore, if the universe is full of matter with infinite possibilities, it's just a matter of tuning in to the right frequency or channel to get the results that you want. Most people decode in such a way that it does not serve them. Okay, so here's the thought. Every species uses a different sensory apparatus. In other words, all species don't look at the same thing the same way. For example, a honeybee, when looking at a flower, does not see the same flower that you and I see. They see a different receptor, and which is ultraviolet, right? They look at honey different than the way we would look at honey or the way we would look at a flower. How about a bat? Their sensory apparatus is ultrasonic sound, right? Imagine what it would be like if you operated from ultrasonic sound. You would look at your world differently. So here's all I'm trying to say here, is that based on our own human apparatus, our five senses, we are limited to the reality that we see. We're limited to truly understand reality as reality really is. So we make up that difference in our mind. If you go back to my last podcast, you will see as I talked there that when we look out at our world, we only see 50% of what's there through our motor cortex. Okay, and I would argue that we don't even see 50%. In all reality, based on our senses and the different angles we can look at things, we're more limited. We probably only see 1 or 2%. I mean, think about this. Our senses tell us that the world is flat, but we know better than that. Our senses also tell us that the ground we stand on is stationary, but we know that we're moving. In fact, we are spinning. We are spinning through space at 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. Additionally, the Earth spins around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour. We are not stationary, but it sure feels that way. So based on our reality, based on our little 5 or 6 senses, we are truly limited. And unfortunately, we make up our reality and set beliefs in our thinking that may be limiting us. We go to set a goal and then we quickly talk ourselves out of the goal and we say, I can't do that. And then you realize later on, you're maybe forced in a situation that is similar to it and you did fine. And you realized you were capable. And all those years passed by when you could have taken advantage of that goal. And maybe you still can. I would encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and go do something different that is healthy, that is strong, that will move you closer to your goals, and all of a sudden you'll realize you're more capable than you think you are. I know I say that a lot. It's true. It's all about facing your fears and getting out of your comfort zones and believing that you have possibility and ability to do all kinds of things, right? If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can. I hope you enjoyed this quick audio. I'm ready to jam home. I just wanted to leave you walking out of this training with just a couple little extra nuggets as it relates to beliefs. All right, look at your reality a little differently is my hope for you. Okay, and you'll find there's a lot of open doors out there for you. All right, listen, if you haven't gone to my podcast and left a review, I hope you will, right? Just log into your Apple iTunes on your desktop, go to the tab that says write a review. There's a tab that says ratings and reviews. If you could just go there and do a star rating, a positive star rating, I would hope. And then, if you'd even be so kind to maybe write a few words just to say what you think about my podcast. All right. I appreciate you being a part of my community. May you unleash your greatness within.
GreatnessWithin.com